Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to give you a tour of my backyard garden. This garden was started back in 2019, and before I started, this was nothing but a lawn. I live on 0.48 acres, and this, where you can see the metal boxes back there, that's where my grandfather used to till and grow his garden. And this area where, before that, is where it was never tilled. And I'll get to that and explain why that's important in a minute. So this is the beginning of my garden. I just moved these stepping stones here. I need to arrange them. But I'm sure you've already seen the video of when I planted my grapes on cattle panel. And this is them now. These were planted last spring, so they have only been in the ground for a year. And I'll try to remember the dates or how many seasons or years these trees and plants have been in the positions that they are. And I will try to tell you when I planted each individual plant. So let's get started. I can't remember if this is my Concord grapes or my Niagara. It may be backwards, but I think this is my Concords. And as I said, I planted these a year ago. And it's almost a year now. No, it's a little over a year. And I've got my first grapes. I don't do anything to my grapes. I don't fertilize them. I do give them some ash, but that's it. I just wanted some place where I could come to get out of the sun and maybe grab a little snack while I'm gardening. And they're just loaded. I will be making wine, giving some of these away, eating straight off the vine. I got plans. I don't know how to make jam, but I'm sure I can figure it out. And sorry for all the noise, but I live in a heavy industrial area, and I just have a little piece of paradise out here. All right, moving on. This is my citrus grove. And yes, my trees are planted fairly close together. They're 6 feet on center, and the reason I did that is because I can keep my trees as tall and wide as I want. They don't have to grow to their full potential. This makes harvesting easier, and it packs a lot of food in one space. Now granted, if you cut back your trees, you'll get less fruit, but it's not that significant. You can let these grow tall and just keep them not as wide. It's really up to you. My goal is to have the whole backyard under tree canopy. So this is my, let's start here. I beg your pardon. I just planted this one about a month ago. It's going through this thing that all my citrus do at this time of year. When it's cold, they just get a little yellow. So don't be concerned about that. This will correct itself. So this is a Washington navel orange. But I'm not going to. I'm going to keep these pruned. This is my Persian lime. I've got one lime, and it took a good while for this Persian lime to get established. This is its second season, compared to this, which is a third season. And this is a Satsuma. And this is its first year producing for me. See, this too has that light, it got cold and not happy look about it. Plus we've had a lot of rain. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. But for some reason they do this and then they snap right back out of it. Now this one right here, I think is my blood orange. It's third season as well. and I don't see it producing anything for me yet. And this is my clementine mandarin, and it almost died, and this is its first year. It's been in the ground 3 years. I've moved it twice, and now this is its third season, and it's starting to produce fruit. And this is I think this is also a blood orange. The tag doesn't read. Oh, here it is. I'm sorry, let me get in here. Oh, this is another Owari Satsuma. I have several Owari Satsumas, and it's got fruit on it, and it looks really, really good. Now, last year I had a real problem with leaf curl and leaf miner. I'll try to find, here we go. See, last year, this was last year's growth. I had leaf curl and leaf miner. And this year, so far, so good. Probably because I treated everything with organic sprays. It's called dormant. And over here on this Myers lemon, you can see where I had leaf miner and leaf curl. But all the new growth is looking spectacular. Now, this Myers lemon, I do have an improved Meyer lemon. It's over on the other side. I'll show you in a minute. It's in bloom. It's got new fruit on it. Plus, it's got fruit that's still not ready. That doesn't look too good. But we had a really bad storm, and it knocked off all the all the new citrus. But pretty soon it'll start flowering again and producing more lemons. Lemons are going for about $1 a lemon. It's insane. Here we go. And there's a lemon. 2 lemons. All right, so here is a brown select. And this has been in the ground a couple of months. This has been in the ground 4 years. So it's 4 years, 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. 3 years with the issue, but we're overcoming that. Isn't that just gorgeous? All right, and I have one more citrus over here, 2 more citrus, 3 more. I have 3 more citrus to show you. And this is another Owari Satsuma. I'm in zone 9B, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. And this has been in the ground for a couple of months. I'll show you my last 2 citrus, and then I'll move on. I'm going to get to everything, I promise. This is an improved Meyer lemon. I'm not sure what's improved about it, but if I find out, I'll put it in the notes on the screen. And this has been in the ground a few months. And that's my rooster. So I'll show you my other citrus. I couldn't plant them all together because I have to space everything so I can get my lawnmower in and out with my wagon. And this is another Washington navel. And again, it's just yellow. This has been in the ground for a few months. So let's go back up to the top. All right, now that you've seen the grove, we're going to move over to where I'm starting orchards. Now, if you're wondering about the black landscape fabric, I'll go ahead and address that. I have a severe dollar weed, which is kind of like a bindweed or anything that runs on rhizomes, and it gets into everything. Raised containers, a drain hole in a pot, anything. And so do ants. I have a severe ant problem. I have 4 different types of ants, and I just cannot seem to get on top of any of this stuff, plus the weeds. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to landscape fabric so I don't have to pull weeds. I'm only growing for myself. I live by myself. I do have a lawn guy that does come and weed eat for me, but I keep up with the 2 adjoining yards, a neighbor, and 2 other neighbors on the other side. So that's 5 yards I got to take care of. I just don't have the time. And eventually I'll take up all this landscape fabric, plant bulbs and meadow grasses and things like that, but that's for another time. And we're about to have visitors. Uh-oh. Now y'all, don't get in my boxes. Don't you do it. You guys go on now. Now the reason I have boxes around each individual tree that I planted is so I could put mulch inside of them to keep the root system cool, and so that whenever I have to treat or fertilize with organic fertilizer, I can just drop it in the mulch and it doesn't get blown away. And you know who doesn't get it anyway. So yeah, I have a little bit of an edging problem, but I need to get some landscape ties and put them on the edges. But this is Daddy. If you're new to the channel, this is Daddy. And that's Jules. As you can see, she wears earrings, so I call her Jules. And these are the only 2 chickens I have, and they make a mess. Yes, you do. Yes, they do come in here and knock the mulch out. I don't like the big mulch. I just happen to have a bag of it. I like the small mini nuggets. So that's what I do. If I ever have to put anything to fertilize or treat any of the trees, then I have the mulch to hold whatever it is that I've dumped down there and keeps the root system cool. So I see you. I don't have anything. All right, so here's my second grapevine. Now this is all this year's growth. These die all the way back in the winter, and this one is doing great. Now these will be, I didn't prune this at all last year, but it will be pruned this year. And the grapes are just absolutely gorgeous on this one. I cannot wait for these things to be ready so that I can come out here and just eat. It is so pretty. I'm just tickled. And it's everywhere. I will be planting more grapes. I'm going to build a pergola on either side of my breezeway doors. And if you're new to the channel, that's just an area that separates 2 buildings that I'll walk through all the time. And that way I can just walk out the door on a rainy day instead of coming out here and getting wet. I just come lean out the door and grab some food. Anyway, so there you go. And a little stool for, for when I'm sitting working on my raised beds. All right. And this is my Ayers pear. Daddy. And from the looks of it, I have way too much nitrogen. So it's got aphids, but we have the cure, and that's the ladybug. Now this tree does have ladybugs on it. The ants protect the aphids. So we have a little system going on here. The tree needs to be relieved of some nitrogen. The aphids come in, relieve the sap, or drink the sap, produce honeydew, which feeds the ants, which protect the aphids. Now, to keep all the aphids under control, we have a little bit of law enforcement here, which is the ladybug, and she feeds on aphids. And I'm sure there's more ladybugs, but it's real early 30 in the morning. So this is a balance, and everything is taking care of itself. So I'm not going to treat this tree. I'm going to leave it alone and keep an eye on it. And if it gets bad, I will intervene. But I'm just going to let nature do its thing. Now last year, this peach tree, which is loaded with peaches, it's first time this has been in the ground. 4 years. 4 years, this is 3 years. Last year, this peach tree was covered in woolly aphids. I'll try to get a close up. See that white dot right there? Well, last year those were white woolly aphids. They're little waxy things, and it had covered this entire trunk. You can see the scales. And I would come out here with a water hose and spray them off, and I had to use some organic spray because I thought it was going to kill my tree. It was trying to, from what I'm to understand, the aphids were trying to save it. But in the end, it worked out. I really thought she was going to die. But as you can see, everything took care of itself. And this year, no aphids. None at all. But big, beautiful peaches. So this year I'm going to make peach wine and peach preserves. Sorry for the noise. I think this is marjoram. It's going to seed, and chives. These chives have been in here for 4 years. I don't do anything to them. I don't water them. Well, maybe every now and then I may see they need some water. Swing over here. I've got a volunteer mint. I'm not sure which one this is. That is spearmint. And over here is the very first citrus or tree I planted. And I think I have a video of that. I will be coming out with videos of how I started this garden. I haven't been able to upload with a menagerie of work issues and family and so on and so forth. But this one is loaded. This is its first year of putting on or setting fruit. Last year I had a real problem with leaf curl and leaf miner, but this year, so far, so good. Now last year one of her limbs broke off, and I used electrical tape to tape her up, and it's about time for it to come off. It's been over a year. And this tree and this limb that broke is actually producing fruit. You can see it right here. Yeah, you can see the fruit right here, right down here. From what I'm to understand, citrus does not like the sun on its trunk. I'm just trying to see how good this healed. It's been a year, like I said. Oh wow, it's completely healed. You cannot even tell that that was completely broken. It healed itself. Hot dog. Oh, I just noticed there's a string or something growing. There's a string growing into the... Did not even see that. There. So this is the queen, if you will. Absolutely gorgeous tree. And this is a more established tree. It has a little bit of light. It's a little bit light in color right now, but like I said, I think it's the time of year. All right, over here is my dwarf Cavendish. Now, Cavendish banana is what you buy at the store and eat, but this doesn't get as tall. Now, this dies back in the winter. I'm not sure if I'll ever get fruit. It's been in the ground 3 years. I don't know. Keep your fingers crossed for me. It's a beautiful plant. And the older the leaves get, they get striations of purple in it, and it's very, very decorative. So this clump is going to get wider and wider and wider in time, and I can dig these up individually these plants. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and relocate them in the yard if I want to. I can remove all of them and put a tree here if I want. The chickens got in here and unearthed my potatoes, but they're just chickens. What do you do? It's in various stages of growth and dying. These are starting to come available to be scratched. These are just now coming up. So I always have potatoes when I need them. Let's see what this one looks like. I gotta keep the chickens out. Oh, there we go. I need to put some more wood chips in here. And then I have a volunteer. I think this is an onion. Yeah, I think that's onion or garlic. Y'all let me know what this is. I have no idea. Isn't that strange? I've never had it go to bloom before. Okay, forgive the noise again. I'm sorry. But this is my Orient pear. I moved from out there, about right there, and that's where my grandfather used to till. And even though this area has lain fallow for 10 years, the ground still has not recovered. So once I moved her here, she has really taken off. So I'm super stoked about that. All right, we're gonna go over this direction. This is peppermint, and I just leave these for years. There's some purslane, but I just leave my stuff in here. I probably could reseed it. I mean, I could probably repot this, but it's happy. This is a pink. This is an apple. I don't remember which kind it is. I'll have to look it up. It may look bad, but it's budding up. She's still going for it. And this right here, I got to pull the weeds out, build a form, and concrete this in, but I need to run some water out to this direction. Hold on, let me go ahead and get this over here. Over here I have some French lavender. I have French lavender. Very pretty plant. This is just a couple of months old. And this is a plum. This is a gold plum. And this is its second year in the ground. I did not see it produce any flowers. Over here are my carrots. They've gone to seed. These were red carrots seeds that I bought from India. And a volunteer basil. And chickens. Right here I have my thornless blackberry, and as you can see, it is loaded. I'm going to be making jams, eating it fresh off the vines. And I will be pruning it next year. I didn't prune it this year, and I need to move this cattle panel back. It's too close to the stem. And I have a volunteer, or did I plant this? I don't remember. Muscadine. And I've got to dig this up and move it somewhere else. I don't know why I got confused about that if I did that. Birds. You know, the birds are trying to eat them. Look at this. That bird you hear is a mockingbird. And here are some more carrots. Let's see how they are. Oh, yeah. Sun's trying to come out. So I got plenty of carrots. Looks like a chicken got in here and knocked us over. But this is a tomatillo. Just gonna leave it alone with some weeds. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, look at here. Almost ready. That's good. And this here is my turmeric. With some carrots. I don't know where those carrots came from, but alrighty. And I planted this turmeric. I just laid it on the soil in January. Alright, right here. This is an Anna apple. And I have blooms this year, people. This is the first year she's bloomed, and she's been in the ground for 3 years. And she's still budding out. She's always been the last to wake up. She too was planted out there. And last year I moved her here. And now she is just taking off. Absolutely amazing. Now this is a plum. I almost lost this plum 2 years ago. I moved it up here and it's doing great. She had some blooms on her, but they just didn't make this year. I think plums take 3 years before they produce. I'm not sure. You may want to look that up. But no plums this year. Over here, I have my pineapple guava. Now this side of the tree has already bloomed. Now this side is trying to bloom. And they've got really, really pretty flowers. Very striking. And there's a new bud right there. And this strawberry guava is an evergreen. So this is as tall and wide as it gets. And it stays green. It has silver undertones so that when the wind blows, it kind of gives you a bejeweled look, if you will. And I think I may get some fruit this year. I don't know. I don't know anything about these, but keep your fingers crossed. And look at here. Someone's taking a nap. Good morning. Beautiful. So I don't know, guys. I'll keep you updated on whether or not I get any fruit. It'd be nice. I've never tasted a pineapple guava. Alright, moving over here. This is a pink lady apple. This has only been here a year. 2 years, I'm sorry. And now I have blooms. And I have an apple. Now it may not be much of an apple. It may be a sickly apple, but it's an apple. It's my first apple. I'm happy. And she's still leafing out. This is super exciting. And right here I have a Florida Home pear. I have a Florida Home pear. This is its second season. And it too has aphids. Here you go, that's a Florida Home pear. And it too has the ants and the aphids. And I don't see any ladybugs. So I've got a little bit of a nitrogen issue. Oh, here we go. On the scene. So pears have an issue with aphids this year. Last year it was peaches. Okay. She's just adorable. Oh, camera shy, are we? Camera shy? Oh, you're gonna go eat lunch? Okay. Alright. Let's get over here. I just showed you this Washington navel. And this is another gold plum. I accidentally planted 2 gold plums side by side. And I have found 2 ladybugs that are mating. I don't know if you can see that. There we go. So I know my garden is healthy. If you've got ladybugs mating in your garden, you got a healthy garden. But I don't see any aphids here, so this plum is good. I mean, that is hilarious. All right, and she looks amazing. This is her second season. Yeah. All right, now to the raised beds. All right, this is what I did. I went online and got some seeds from India because I talked to my local Indian grocer, and I told him I wanted to grow fresh produce for him and sell it at his, he buy it for me and he sell it. And we agreed. And I told him, I said, I need a year to see what will grow from his country here. And so right now, this is all an experiment. I need to do some trimming on my tomatoes before it gets too hot and diseases start showing up. But these are my tomatoes. I got Roma's, Celebrity, and I can't remember. I think I just got Celebrity, Beefsteak. There we go. Beefsteak, Celebrity, and Roma. And I was in a rush. I needed to get these in the ground, so I just shoved them all in the ground. It caged them up, and this is what they're doing. I need to come in here and trim for airflow, and I got a poor little old marigold in here and some dill, and I got some dill. I love the smell of dill. And then I have, I don't know what kind of tomato this is, but it is out of control. I got eggplant. I got 2 eggplants actually. And some more tomatoes. I do come out here and pinch or prune them. I do that. And I have a cucumber. It's really not much of a cucumber. That was a seed from the individual person, dude. So I need to do some pruning. And this is a tree kale. I got these from Plant Abundance channel on YouTube, Dan. Thank you, Dan. And I also got tree collards, and I have dill that has gone to seed. And it smells so good. And this is a habanero. If you remember last year on my Instagram, I was showing you guys my habaneros. I had more habaneros than I knew what to do with. And I have tree collards. Now these tree kale and tree collards, they're perennials, and they basically are year-round for me. They grow real tall. They stay green throughout the winter. And I just come out here, I pick, cook, and then it regrows more and more and more. And so it's steady food. It may not be high in calories, but it's food. And they cross-pollinate, so sometimes these taste even better. Over here I have a pumpkin of sorts, or squash, not sure. I had a plebano that we had a storm and it blew it over and snapped the stem. Gotta get another one. I planted some Elysium, and I have a weed. Yes, I have a weed. Goodbye. See, I do have to weed, but not on that scale. Here we go, some onion. And I have another volunteer. No, I have another cucumber and some Elysium with hoverflies. Hoverflies absolutely love sweet Elysium. And some russets that I'm sorry, these are, anyway, I've got some gold potatoes in here, and they're about ready. And this is definitely, and this is a radish that I got seed from that Indian guy. And I only grew this not to eat it, because I'm not a radish fan. but I grew it for the seeds, and they're getting ready to be harvested. It's a mess. But see, the small amount of seeds that I got weren't enough to actually grow a decent crop. So this year is seed collection. Over here I have my French marigold. These are very pretty. And I grew these from seed. No, I grew these from seed, the sweet alyssum. And hoverflies really like this sweet alyssum, but they are not heat tolerant. So these will be going away pretty soon. Oh my goodness. And it's only the day after Mother's Day, 2024. But I overwinter my peppers. I pull them up, put them in a bucket, put them in the breezeway, and put them back out in the spring. You can only do that, I think, 3 years, and this is year 2. This will be their 2nd year. Over here is my Find It, Plant It. And I had a client who had a red onion on her countertop that started sprouting, so I put it in the raised bed, and this is it now. And what is this? I got another habanero, so it'll make up for the one over there. And I got a volunteer. I don't know what that is. We'll see. And some more marigold. This came up in the yard. It blooms when the sun's on it. I don't know what it is, but it looks like a succulent. So if you know what this is, please let me know. I'd greatly appreciate it. And some more dill that's going to seed. I'm just going to let everything go to seed, do what it does. Oh, I got, look, I got jalapenos. I overwintered this plant too, and this one. I have a friend who can't eat green peppers, but she can eat them once they turn red. So I'm going to let these turn red and then give them to her. And just for grins and giggles, I've never grown California poppy before. So I threw some seeds in here, and well, there you have it. I got another pepper right here. It died. Yeah, this one really had a problem. It was a bell pepper. But this one, you can see how old it is by how thick the stalk is. But this one did fine, and it's producing fruit everywhere. And I got a dill. No, I don't. There you go. Put on new growth, whole new limb. One last thing. I was experimenting with growing in bags, because these bags are from IKEA. I got them on Amazon in bulk just to see if it would actually grow something, and it is. It's growing this watermelon. And this way, people who don't have as much room as I do, when it's not growing season, these will store easily and not take up much room in a closet. Oops. There we go. So far so good. I think I should probably give it some more manure. A chicken laid an egg. She's celebrating. Alright, so that's it for this part of the tour. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you out to what was going to be my orchard. But this is where my grandfather would always till up and grow his garden. And he always had beautiful gardens. They used a lot of fertilizer too. So my trees aren't growing as well. This too is a pineapple guava, but as you can see, even though they were the same size when I first got them, as you can see that this pineapple guava isn't anywhere near as big and beautiful as the other one, but it did bloom this year. So we'll see how it does. I may end up moving it. Over here I have a loquat. It'll probably give me fruit next year. This was a gift, and it's been in the ground 3 years. That's been in the ground 3 years. My pomegranate over here has been in the ground 3 years. I get flowers, but I don't get fruit. So maybe this year will be different, because this thing was loaded in blooms. And maybe, say a prayer for me. They are pretty. I may end up moving this one as well, along with my mayhaw. Now this mayhaw is kind of a swamp dweller. It likes to grow on riverbanks and stuff like that. It's a swamp plant, from what I hear. That may not be true. But it has these unique berries. The best jelly you will ever have is Mayhaw jelly, in my opinion. Now I know you're going to notice these poor trees. Well, I bought all these Leyland cypress, and the man brought them to me, but he had snapped off all the tap roots because the tap roots had grown through the pot into the ground, and he cut it and then gave them to me. So they've been in the ground about 4 months now, 5 months, so they're holding their own. The leaf shed or needle shed has stopped, and I think they're starting to put on new growth, or either they're just maintaining. To me, that looks like a little bit of new growth on the tips. So we'll see. They're hanging in there. And here is we saw the queen of the garden. Now let's look at the king of the garden. I cut this during the summer solstice, and this thing shot off. I'm gonna let it do its thing. This thing is happy. I've got 1, 2, 3 pair. Now last year I had 3 pairs. I always use netting around my pears because I don't spray them. And I had raccoons come out here and take every one of them, left the bags. I was so mad. But this thing is gorgeous, and this is a kefir pear, by the way. It is happy. I'm gonna let it stay happy. But my grandfather really never tilled and used this area because it floods all the time, so that may be something. And this is my mulberry. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but this thing was loaded this year. I had some of them and they were delicious, and the birds got the rest, so I need to buy a bigger net. And here is my last tree in this area, and this is my Dorset apple, and it's been in here. That's a 4-year tree, 4-year, 4-year. Mulberries get massive, but you can keep them trimmed and contained. Just remember that. That's a Pakistani mulberry also. I forgot to mention that, forgive me. And this is this is Dorset's first year blooming. So hopefully I'll get apples this year. And I have some blueberries here and over there, but the tractor's broken and I can't bush hog. And I found another thornless blackberry in here. So I gotta dig it up this fall and move it. So this is what the orchard looks like from over here. And I'll show you one more tree I have out here, and then we're gonna walk over to the property line and I'll show you what I planted over there, because every time I remove a tree I plant another one. Now over here I have a hibiscus that I relocated. It has big red flowers, huge in the summer, and a pecan, and this is a grafted pecan, and I can't remember the name of it. And I have a black-eyed Susan that's hidden in the weeds. If I could keep those chickens out of here, keep the mulch down, keep the weeds at bay. And then I've got volunteer mint everywhere. That's chocolate mint. And I got more mint over here, which I don't mind. I don't care if it spreads, it doesn't bother me. That's chocolate mint. And that's, I don't know what kind of mint that is. It's very pungent. All right. I've got an elderberry growing here. So I'll be making elderberry tinctures. When I mowed yesterday, I left the Spanish needle. And for those of you who don't know what dollar weed is, this is dollar weed. It's in the nasturtium family. These are edible, but I'm not that hungry, and it's highly invasive. They run on rhizomes and seeds. And over here, when I mowed, I left henbit. and this is henbit, and the bumblebees love it. So I just left a big patch of it. So I don't always mow down my lawn. I leave the dandelion because dandelion helps correct the soil. Got buttercups and so on. Now over here is the only forested area that I have. I did clean it out. I got a lot of deadfall out, a lot of widowmakers out. It's ash, crabtree, I forgot, oak, I think, I don't know. And I planted these ferns in here to kind of be of a ground cover since the light was getting through after I cut the trees down. And it's holding its own. I got to take out these crepe myrtles, they're all dead. And I got to get rid of this wax myrtle. It's highly invasive where I live. I know you can make candles out of it, but you know what? This thing is always full of mosquitoes, so I'm not buying it. Oh, I got a jasmine that volunteered and another dead or dying crepe myrtle. Gotta go. Lemongrass, I need to relocate. And this is the property line right here. I have a fig, no fruit, because it's competing with the root system of all these big trees. It's competing, so I have to feed them heavy with black cow manure. And then I planted a Manchurian crabapple. And here I planted a Manchurian crabapple, and it is in bloom, and it has already set fruit, which I'm really interested in seeing how it turns out. And all of these are year 3. And I planted an Anna apple right here, and it is not setting blooms or fruit, which I really wouldn't expect it on its second year. Sorry, yeah, this second year. Yeah, this will be its second year. I was going to grow some kiwi on this fence or some hops, but hops in my area is extremely invasive. And here's the garden looking east, and that's my 0.48 acres. This is 0.48 acres. It's rental property, and on the other side is where my sister's going to be moving in, and that's going to be her 0.48 acres. So cumulatively I've got about 1.5 acres. And in this area is going to be the septic runs through here. The leach fields run through here. So I have all this area to plant trees, and all this back here, sorry, all this right here, all this weeds and stuff, and all of this right here is going to be wildflowers. That's going to be orchard and wildflower, so I don't have to mow. I'm going to put out some more landscape fabric and I'm going to put in more landscape fabric and more raised beds next year. I left clover. Clover is a nitrogen fixer, and the bees absolutely love it. So I'm leaving it. I don't mow my entire lawn. I really don't mow until after Mother's Day, which is what I did yesterday. But the weeds are getting out of control. But like I said, I have a guy who comes out and does the weeds for me. So I know landscape fabric isn't for everybody, but when you have ants that kill your crops, dollarweed that chokes it out, and you have sand gnats out here that make it so miserable that you don't even come out and enjoy your garden anymore, landscape fabric may be for you. It is for me. Is it always going to be landscape fabric? I don't know. I may pull all this up and plant bulbs and make a meadow once the trees get established. I don't know. But for right now, this is what I need to help me have a garden and be willing to come out here. I do have some more areas to my yard I'd like to share with you, but I'll do that another time. This has been a long video, and I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you have any questions, put them down below. I'll get to you as soon as possible. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new, let me know you're new. I'd like to meet you. And we'll get to the front yard, the pond, my bananas, and my other trees next time. So I do appreciate you guys being here. And if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. And I guess I'll just see you in the next.